Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here. Again, if you happen to be in North Korea today and you ask this people, the greatest nation in the world, they would say North Korea. If you ask Russia, the people would say Russia. If you ask China, the people would say China. If you ask the USA, the people would say the USA. Now there are many, many weaker nations as far as economically development and measurements are concerned, so I won't just use those, but I'll use these. And they got a lot of stuff in common. Each one of them are the greatest nation. And each one of them have a system of government that benefits the few at the expense of the many. All of our lifetime, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we have experienced. We have experienced. And you know what? What people say is that this is the conditions, these present day conditions are indicative of that which has been prophesied as the end times, when nation will be rising up against nation, when droughts, hurricanes and earthquakes and fires, and all these things are taking place, and thunderstorms beyond measure, hurricanes, that these are the days that have been prophesied that there will be a return. And some major things are going to take place. I'm sure everybody have heard this. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, what I say is that the return has already been made. They are looking for something to come out of the clouds, and it did. But it was a spirit, a comforter, that would show you what it sees the Father doing and saying, so that you won't need any man to lead or guide you. It will come as a spirit that will be searching for every pure and heart, for therein can they find housing. And once that housing has been taken over, you can see the works of the power of the invisible God in whatever and whomever individual will receive the Spirit. So when they say the return, I want all of you to know that as far as I am concerned, the return has already been made. Already been made. And there are so many other things I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to really understand that God is a spirit. Always remember that God is a spirit. And God wants you to agree with God. That's what the pure in heart will do. It will agree with God. And to agree with God is to affirm. To agree with God is to affirm that, my friends, and I don't want you to forget this. This God, this creator of heaven and earth, the maker of all existence, I want you to remember this, is the only owner. God, the creator of heaven and earth, the maker of all existence, is the only owner. There are no others. No others. Whatever system you're living under, it's just there until the truth comes to free you from that system. There are no owners of anything. Now, my friends, the resources of the earth are to be used for the benefit of the human race as they see fit. The resources of the earth are to be used for the benefit of the human race. Whether it's to make clothing, whether it's to make housing, whether it's to make transportation, whether it's to produce food, whether it's just produce jobs, whether it's producing education, whether it's going to produce in healthcare, it is all designed for the benefit, stored for the benefit of the human race. Let me say that to you again. The maker of heaven and earth, the creator of all existence, put the resources of the earth here that are essential for survival and anything that man wants to do. Put it here, whether it's in the earth or on the earth or above the earth, whether it's seen or unseen. It's designed in such a way that when the time is right, the knowledge will be made available. And the process of recognizing and extracting and developing and utilizing as you determine is essential will take place. This is God's way, ladies and gentlemen. God's way. And I want you to truly understand God is a spirit. He's not a political party. He's not a nation. He's not a national party. God is spirit, and God is truth, and God is love. It is God's desire that you use the resources for the development of the human population to what? To live together, to play together, to work together. You know, this is the result of peace. These things can only take place when peace and prosperity and freedom and the joy of life and the fulfillment of dreams are actually taking place. You see, the purpose of God's return, I don't know what you have heard in the past, and I don't know what you have read in the book. I don't know what you read, what somebody else has written, that somebody else said, or whether you're listening to what somebody else has said to you. I am telling you, right before you, right this minute, the purpose of God's return is not what you have been trained to believe. The purpose of God's return is to complete the initial mission, which is to create heaven right here on earth. To create heaven right here on earth. Now the path, the road that you'll take, is to expose the deception and reflect the truth, which yields a very different benefit, such as the elimination of poverty, the elimination of crime and violence, the elimination of hatred and racism, and lying and cheating and stealing and killing in war. God's plan allows for all workers to have a career of their choosing, thereby creating a full campaign of guaranteed survival necessities, such as I mentioned earlier, healthcare, education, food, clothing, and housing, transportation, infrastructure, recreation, the whole gamut. Now, my friends, with that, there is no debt, there's no loan interest or anything. I want you to know that God is back. Not as the deception had led you to believe as coming down riding on a cloud, but as spirit, available to, I repeat, the pure in heart. This mission involves returning love and justice to the conduits, creating a balance in community. If I had to sum that up in maybe 2 minutes, I would be saying to you is this. I think everybody who got a little bit of education, a little bit of sense, I know you've been miseducated, but if you got some education, you got some thinking potential, you've done some educating, real educating on your own. And I'm sure that you know that this earth that you live on had no man hand in the process of its creation. You know that. Now, whether you know it, alien, God, whatever that means to you, you don't know. But you know that we human beings had nothing to do with it. But now many of us have had an experience with that spiritual power that has led us to believe and recognize and understand and won't accept anything other than that spiritual power is the most powerful, and it is love, based upon what I or any of us have experienced with that power. And because I don't think I'm more deserving than any of you, I recognize that that love that was shown to me is an indication that the love that is held for each and every last one of you. You know, we can find all kind of reason to be mean and cruel to one another, but we're talking about a power that is not as vulnerable as we are. A real power to set the example for us all, the true parent. And so it's made it possible for us to really enjoy this life by knowing what it is we're here to do, and everything and everyone is working toward the one common cause, and that is to make sure that all of us are satisfied, and that each of our dreams can come true, and that nothing could come in and invade and mess up the process. Now, this is a new way of thinking, ladies and gentlemen. I have heard it said that when there were just two people, that was the emphasis to do just that. But a deception came in, and that deception has ridden that horse from the day it started to this very day right here, and it's captured the whole human species. Whatever we say we doing, whatever respect we say we hold for a divinity, all of it is limited and restricted by what the power of the earth, the power of the anti-God permits us to do, permits us to get away with. And that is our limitation. That is our limitation. Because we do not know of the power of the Spirit. Now, I say that I'm a chosen vessel for the Spirit of God to be used. Sometimes I feel like I might be the only one, but I'm not stupid enough to think that. I know that there are others all across this country who I have never heard of, just like they haven't heard of me. But all I got to do is take care of business right here. If I run into anybody else that's led by the Spirit, praise God. And all they got to do is do the same thing wherever they are. God is working. And people everywhere, God is working to free you from these chains. It is a very difficult matter. I'm telling you, it's a difficult matter because you have been truly programmed deeply. How is it that you think the whole Republican Party is afraid of Donald Trump? It is because they, the people, are no good. They truly are no good. They got all kinds of skeletons in their closets. They are being held captives. They can't even stand up and be men. They can't even stand up for what's righteous. They can't even stand up for what's kind. They got to fall in line with Donald Trump. Now, how do you think people who are victims of policies that have been made by these people, who believe in racism and hatred and bigotry, and the Democrats? Now, let me ask you, people who are down on your luck, when there were Democrats in office, were you relieved? Did you rise up above where you are now? Or were you still down on your luck? And if you were able to escape, there were so many more that were not. And so Republicans nor Democrats got anything to brag about. And the system of our government It's nothing to brag about, whether it's at the national level or at the state level. It is what it is. And for that, I guess we can say thank you. At least we are here. But here being, we have the opportunity now, ladies and gentlemen, just like we moved from the 1800s to a different 1900s to a different 20. Now, ladies and gentlemen, our times have changed. Who we are as individuals, as people, as communities must change as well. Now we have been half-stepping and fallen back a deep way from where we hoped would be. But I stand before you today to say to you that we can end this thing. We must end this thing. But I want you to listen to me real good. Listen to me real good, ladies and gentlemen. When you think about white people, you can think about some of the dirtiest people you ever cross your mind. I'm serious. Do you really want to trust them? When you think about black people, yeah, the first thing that comes to your mind here is that they've been oppressed. But I want to tell you something. They too are some of the dirtiest people you could ever cross your mind. So do you really want to trust them? And all of these other people, I'm just going to put them all in one bucket. They are some of the dirtiest people you could ever cross your mind. So do you really want to trust them? So, living as long as I've lived, I'd say, heck no. I don't want to trust a single one of them. So what do I advocate that we trust? Personally, I trust the Spirit. And I ask you, I offer that to you, to trust the Spirit. And why do I ask you to trust the Spirit? Because the Spirit, my friends, it's different than all these other systems. The Spirit will come into your being. The Spirit will live in your being. And what that Spirit will do, it will connect and be one with the Creator of heaven and earth and all things in existence. That same Spirit lives in you. Now, you're not going to be that kind of God yet. You're going to have to shake off a whole bunch of that worldly stuff. But as you see it, as you confronted with it and faced with it from day to day, you will throw it off because it won't have any purpose. You're a new creature. And so what I'm saying to you, ladies and gentlemen, the power of that Spirit that is in you is connected to every other spirit, all the other spirits and all the other beings. See, you the people get messed up with each other. But the Spirit that is in you is not getting messed up with the Spirit that's in everyone else. It's all the same Spirit. And it is about unity. It is about justice. It is about those things of life. And because it is, those who have profited from your pain and suffering, they will not profit from your pain and suffering any longer. And they will not endure any pain or suffering at your freedom. Your freedom, their freedom, it's all one freedom. And as Americans, ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention. The Republican Party, I promise you, cannot do it. Donald Trump can't do it. Joe Biden can't do it. Any of those black women can't do it. The only thing that can do it is you, the people, decide that you want it done. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be for the trick. Somebody comes sitting in front of you, talking. That smooth talk. Knowing what to say, because they know what your pain is. They know what you want. So they're coming to you with that smooth talk, making you think that they envision stuff just like you do, and you can trust them because they're going to do it for you. If you go through that again, A lot of people who are awake will think that is a foolish act. You're not going to get anything that way, ladies and gentlemen. The only way you can get it is by you, the people, aligning yourselves with one another, as that Spirit will guide you. And you determine exactly what you want, which will line up with the Spirit's, the purpose of heaven on earth. It will automatically come out there. And if you want a representative, you don't ask them to come and sell themselves to you. You bring them in here and you put up what you want and ask, who of you can do this? But don't just take it on their word. Take it on what they've been doing. Take it on whether they are led by the Spirit. And they are brought in to render a service that you have already determined where you want to go. They just driving the bus. But you laid out the path. So ladies and gentlemen, when you do that, you can avoid the Donald Trumps. You can avoid any of these presidents that you don't like, whether they're black or white, or male or female. You don't have to worry about any of that. And that is because you have put your faith in the Spirit and allowed that Spirit to live within you. And you have become the instrument of your freedom. Not a Republican or a Democrat or a Libertarian or a Green Party or a man or a woman or an old one or a young one. No. You reading me clear? Pay real attention to this, ladies and gentlemen. Because right now, you are going through some changes. You've been had. You've been game played. You've been Ponzi schemed. This whole nation, this whole earth is predicated on stuff like that. The whole earth where people are is set up on stuff like that. Nobody is free from it. Nobody's excused. Everybody is a victim of it. So I'm speaking to you here in America where I am, so we can wake up and free ourselves. And once we free ourselves, just by living, we'll encourage other folks to free themselves. We don't have to put up no guns and go fight anybody, trying to force and make anybody do anything. You hold up the best lifestyle you can ever get, and I guarantee the people everywhere, they'll take care of their own business. All they want to know is that it can be done. They've heard of it done. They see it done. And by George, it'll take care of itself. May I count on you to serve God in this lifetime now. Till next time, bye-bye.